Did you play with Barbie as a child? Well, I got 3 really fun Barbie inspired projects for you to do. Some are easier than others, but honestly, overall, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm Ashley, and this is Chip Builds. So come on and let's go make these crafts. The first Barbie inspired project we're going to do is we're going to 3D print some straw toppers. I made these files in Fusion 360, but so let's put these into our slicer, and then we can color these pieces since they are going to be 2 different colors, and then we can send it off to our printer. All right, so now that this is done printing, we can get it off the build plate. I love hearing that crackling sound. And these little straw toppers actually came out pretty good. Straw toppers is one of my favorite things to make on a 3D printer just because they're a really quick print, and you can typically bundle them with other crafts that you're already selling. So here we have our Barbie silhouette. We have our "Come on Barbie, let's go party" logo. We have just a traditional Barbie name, and we have this kind of lipstick lip pattern here. But these would especially be really great if you're having kind of a Barbie themed party. This would just really elevate the party favors or the drinks that you're gonna have there. The second Barbie inspired project we're going to do is we're going to sublimate a Libby glass can jar with a Barbie wrap design that I made in Adobe Illustrator. That will be free, link down below in the description if you want to print that out for yourself. All right, so I got these sublimation glasses off of Amazon. I'll put a link down below for them, but they're really nice. They come with like a straw. But before I go to clean off this glass, I am going to start the Cricut mug press so it can start heating up. And then I am just going to take some isopropyl alcohol, and then I'm just going to clean up our little sublimation glass here to make sure there's no dust or fingerprints or oils on it. All right, we can let that dry. And this is the image we're doing today. I made this little Libby glass Barbie scene here. This will be available for free to download. But I just thought it was really cute. It's not perfect for these 18-ounce ones, but you can edit it to do whatever you need to do. And move the mug press off the side just a little bit so I can have a little bit more room. So this is my little cup keeper here. I use this to help me tape up sublimation designs on cups and stuff like that, and even just vinyl as well. So I just try to line it up as best as I can in the middle here. So again, this is not perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tape on this one side and I'm going to pull it as tight as I can. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. I think I made this for the 16-ounce glasses, and this is the 18-ounce glass. And so now that I've kind of pushed those together, I can take this long piece of tape, put it down the seam. We want to try to have like no ghosting possible. And then this, I'm just going to push down. All right, and then I'm just going to keep getting more tape here. And we are going to tape down all these edges, pulling tight on the tape. You don't want to have anything loose because that's going to cause ghosting, and then you're going to ruin your cup. Now, because we're doing this on the Cricut mug press, we're going to do this from anywhere to 2 minutes to 4 minutes on all sides of our design, just to be on the safe side. For this video, I'll probably just do 2 minutes. I think that will suffice. And then as this is heating up as well, I am going to put my little silicone spacer in here so it can start to heat up, so that we won't have the cold interacting with the hot. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to put these pieces of parchment paper around our design. All right, now this is going to be ready to put into the Cricut mug press. All right, so our Cricut mug press is heated up and ready to go. So let's put this in here. All right, and I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. All right, our timer is done. So now I'm going to turn this to the side, and we're going to do another 2 minutes. All right, so our 2 minutes is done. So we're going to take this out. And then we're going to flip this upside down because this is a taller glass. And then we're going to put it right there, close it up, and we'll do another 2 minutes. And then we're going to flip it one more time, and then we'll be done. So in total, this takes 8 minutes. So it does take longer to do it in the Cricut mug press as opposed to tumbler press. But this is all I have. All right, now we can take this out and do the final press. And then now our final 2 minutes. Oh, oops. I realized I put it in the wrong way, so I just fixed it real quick. All right, so this is done. So we can take this out of here. Now, before I'm going to turn off the heat press, I'm going to kind of look on the inside, and you can tell if you've missed any spots and if you need to put it back in the heat press. This looks fine to me, so I'm going to turn this off and unplug it. So I like to try to peel off all this stuff while it's still hot. Definitely your personal preference though on what you want to do. So just don't hurt yourself. All right. Oops, it kind of ran away from us there. That paper is incredibly hot. Now our gap isn't too big. Like I said, this is meant for the 16-ounce. But oh my gosh, that looks freaking awesome. But this came out nice and crisp. And this just shows that you can definitely make these glass Libby glasses in the Cricut mug press, no problem. And it does not break your mug press like people say. So let's let this cool down, and then we can put the straw toppers on it. The third Barbie inspired project we're going to do is we're going to crochet some coasters using yarn, and we're going to add a little bit of an extra flair and put some leather tags with Barbie engraved on it just to kind of bring it up a level. Okay, so for this coasters I'm using 2 different kinds of pink yarn. I'll have that listed in the link below. And then I am using a 5mm crochet hook, but based on the holes in my coasters you could probably go down a hook size. But alright, so let's get our yarn here, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make a magic circle. Now this is not like a basic crochet tutorial, this is kind of if you already know how to do it, because I'm not the best at crochet, so I don't really want to be your first time learning crochet, and Elsa's going to help us. And what we're going to do, so we are going to single crochet 6 into this ring. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I always kind of just double check and count and make sure I actually have 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 over here. And what I like to do, because I really struggle at crocheting into that first one, is I like to put my hook underneath here, and then I'll pull that yarn tail to kind of tighten it up a bit, and then I can do my single crochet in here. So for this round, for round 2, we are going to increase into every stitch. So 1, and into that same stitch we're going to put our 2nd stitch. So into that next one, stitch number 3, and then that same one, stitch number 4, 5, 6, please don't look at my tension, I know it's bad, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, so we got our increase round. So I'm gonna pull this tight to really tighten up that magic ring. And then now we can start round 3. So round 3, we're gonna do 1 single crochet followed by an increase, and we're gonna do that all the way around. So let's put in our 1 single crochet stitch. And then I always like to put my crochet marker after that first one that I've made. And then we'll put our increase stitch into the next one. And then now we're to our last stitch, which will be an increase. And that's also a good way to know if you follow the pattern correctly, is if the last pattern lines up with the end of the row. So this last stitch we'll do increase. So now we can take out our stitch marker, and then we can do 2 single crochet stitches followed by an increase. So 1, and then we'll put our stitch marker there, 2, and then increase, and then we just do that same pattern all the way around. Now this coaster will be roughly 4 inches. And Elsa finally decided to get on my shoulder and out of the way. Working with a cat intern can be kind of challenging. All right, and now we're done with this row. We can move on. So for the next one, we're just gonna do 3 single crochet stitches followed by an increase stitch. So here's our first single crochet. Put our stitch marker in. We can take our stitch marker out, and this next one, you guessed it, it's going to be 4 single crocheted stitches followed by 1 increase. So here's our first one. I do not recommend crocheting with your cat. All right, so there's only 3 more rounds left. So now we're going to do 5 single crochet followed by increase. All right, and now we're done with this row, and so we just got 2 more left. The next one is going to be 6 single crocheted followed by an increase stitch. Let's do 1. Put our stitch marker in, and then we're just going to do that same pattern all the way around. All right, and then now we can do our final increase stitch. All right, so now we're on to our last row, and this one is optional, honestly. We're just going to slip stitch into each single crochet. That way it just looks a little bit more finished. I always want to do a single crochet when I'm doing the slip stitch, so it takes a lot of effort for me to not do that. All right, now we're on the last one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the yarn and then just pull it all the way through. And just pull that tight. We can remove our stitch marker. So I like to kind of stretch it out once I've finished. This one really wants to curl up. And then Now that we're done, I'm just gonna pull this one tight. You can do one of two things. You can either weave in the ends with a needle, or you can just trim them. All these other ones I weaved in, but this one I'm just gonna cut. And you probably won't even be able to tell. So now that these are all kind of curling up and everything, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of spray these with some water and put something flat. That way they lay down flat and don't curl up. All right, so I just have some water in this little spray bottle. And I'm just gonna wet these up. I'm gonna flip it. Now you definitely don't wanna iron these because this is acrylic yarn and you won't have a good time. Just gonna push this down, and then we're gonna put some heavy stuff on here to keep them as flat as possible. And so I'm just gonna kind of put a spool of filament from my 3D printer over each one and then just kind of stack it up. And so I'll just stack these up to get some weight on here. All right, I think that's enough weight, and so now we can let it dry. All right, so we're here in the Glowforge interface, and I have my piece of leather in here. So I'm gonna take my artwork, position it over the leather. This is a scrap piece of leather where I had messed it up. So I'm just gonna select both of these, hit Command C, and then Command V for paste and copy. And then I'm gonna come over here to the 3 dots on the right, and I'm gonna hit Set Focus. And over here you can see we've chosen natural leather, and then these are the settings I'm using to engrave: 500 speed, 32 power with 1 pass. And then the cut, I'm just using the proof grade cut setting for the thick natural leather. Now sometimes focusing can take a little bit to do, so you just gotta be patient. All right, so that looks fine. I'm gonna push this up just a little bit. And then now we can come over here and hit ready. All right, so it looks like this is gonna take about 5.5 minutes. So now we can hit the magic glowing button, and then we can watch the Glowforge do its magic. All right, these have been drying for a while now. I don't need them to be perfect. I just need them flat enough so I can attach the leather pieces. And that's pretty good. I know these circles are not perfect, so please don't come at me. I'm still learning. I'm doing the best that I can. All right, so these are the tags that we cut out on the Glowforge. I tried a new finish today and I didn't really like it because it kind of left the inside of the engraved area white. But for this, it should be fine. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of fold these over. Try to get a bit of a crease there. Do the same with this one. These might be a little bit too big too, so you might have to scale these down if you're gonna make this. And I'm just gonna get my yarn needle out, and then we'll do the lighter coasters first. Let's kind of get a piece of yarn here. All right, we can thread this up. So we're gonna do one of each. So I'm gonna kind of put this over where this kind of like mess up is. And then I'm kind of just gonna go for it. But I'm gonna go from the back though. All right, so I'm gonna pull it so it's a little bit smaller. And then I am just going to tie knots. I'm gonna try and make it tight. Trim off the excess yarn. Optionally, you can burn it as well, but that doesn't look too bad. And it kind of just classes it up a little bit. Yeah, if I were to make this again, I would make this just slightly shorter. That way it's kind of just on the edge of these 3 rows rather than the 4 rows. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down below what your favorite project is, and if you're gonna make any of these. And also let me know if you've seen the Barbie movie. I've seen it and I honestly love it. I think it's hilarious.